Hi, this is Dr. Chandler George. So, we're going to start a new series centered around basically America and inflation and the changing things dentists and medical doctors and a couple of veterinarians can do to actually get control of your future. So, in this particular video, let's just inflation. In the last 2 weeks, we've had Jerome Powell come out and say basically inflation is 5%. That's nationally. In a lot of areas, it's like 20%, right? In some areas, it's just 5%. Here in North Texas, it's a lot more than 5%. And I'm not talking about gasoline per se, but home prices, insurances, going out to eat, just stuff you got to do every day, right? Which, like as inflation does, means all wages have to go up. At least we hope they do. But when you work out for yourself, they don't go up unless you do what? Unless you keep overhead tight and don't let that creep. And if so, you better know the percentage that it did creep if it needed to creep to keep your staff. It's a whole nother issue and story. And raise what? Your rates in according to the inflation. And I'd even say 1% above, or you're always getting further behind, right? Now, not so easy to do if you're insurance-based, but if you're insurance or cash hybrid or cash, well, then certainly beat inflation in your particular area of the country. So if it's 2%, you go up 3%. If it's 7%, you go up 8%. You see? If you don't, you're falling behind. And who wants to follow behind when you're in business for yourself, right? Because your only other way to potentially come out ahead is the day you sell it. But there's no guarantee of that. So anyway, inflation. So inflation is where they want to devalue the money, isn't it? Right? They want to devalue it because there's too much out there, which the government, of course, did, and they have to devalue it because they got too much debt to actually pay it back. But by devaluing it, it's a whole lot easier to pay back, and it keeps us in the long run. A lot of people working a whole lot more and longer, which of course means they can taxes and they come out ahead. You see, it's all part of that system. But what you can do is legally have ways to minimize taxes, which is huge, which is why I love real estate. However, I'm not going to talk about that here in this short video to do with the real estate minimizing taxes to help with the inflation. But just the easiest one is whatever overhead went up this year, and of course overhead will typically go up some every year. You need to beat that by however much you go up on your clients and patients, and you need to be sure that you're beating that. So if the overhead in your area went up 5% to live, but your overhead in your practice went up 2%, I'd still be going up 6%, right? Or you're falling behind in your standard of living. I remember going in practice in the 90s. Well, actually, my first full practice, it was mid-1990. I'd already been in practice 2 years at my dad's. And, what was it, $28 for Medicare or something like that? And now what is it? Not much more. It's sad how little it's gone up in, 31 years. And when you think about it, if your clinic was kind of based on something like that, then you fell behind. You did not keep up with inflation. This is why people who don't work at all are always worried about whether money lasts in retirement if they have 30 or 40 years to live in retirement. And usually they're going backwards, right? It's just slowly going backwards. But if you're still working and practicing and you're going backwards, that's not cool at all. I know we want to be altruistic and help people as doctors, but we don't want to be going backwards. The good news is, unlike people working for a company where they really don't have a choice a lot of times, is you actually have a choice to make it different. If you have any questions, by all means, certainly let me know. 817-939-8435. You can text and leave a message, and we can set up a time to call, or send a message at catchfirecoaching@gmail.com and let me know what you think on that. What can you do for inflation? There's a lot you can do, but let's start off with that easiest one first. I'll see you on the next video.